Geez, that you. How's it going, man? All right. Trying to finish this build up tonight. I kind of cheated throughout the day. Did some work throughout the day, off camera, off stream, while I was putting the kids down for a nap and all that kind of crap. So, first thing, I reworked this mouse 3 mod. I kind of didn't like the tape mod idea after thinking about it longer. So I see if you can see. Probably not going to be able to see all that well, but see that little white spot underneath mouse 3. Let's see if I can point it up right there. That's a little like 0.8 millimeter thick chunk of ABS plastic from my 3D printer. Just leftover brim or raft from some previous prints. So I cut a little piece of that, used some CA glue to glue it to the bottom of the switch, to basically shim that switch to just the right height for the encoder. And then it's solid plastic shim under there instead of the tape. Nothing will ever go wrong with it. Permanent solution. And then you'll see when I get into reassembling, but it lines up perfectly. No starlight, lean to the right or whatever. So I'm a lot happier with having some solid plastic in there, and kind of just stole the idea from, I think Razer does a lot, and other mice. They put these little micro buttons on like lifter blocks to get them to the right height. So figured a little plastic shim would work better than the tape. So that's one thing I did this afternoon. And then the other is prep the ribbon cable with the Kale SMDs. You know, some other stream, some other time or maybe even just record a video of doing this and throw it on YouTube or something like that. It's not that complicated, but it's just tedious and kind of sketchy. But if you're careful, it's not that big of a deal. Not that sketchy. It's low temp solder that they use on here from the factory. I don't have a heat gun. I mean, I have a heat gun, just like a normal heat gun. I don't have like a heat station for soldering. And I didn't want to use a normal like Home Depot heat gun on it, because I kind of think it would not be as focused of heat. So I just use my iron and turn it down. I think I was running at like 600 Celsius, as opposed to normally like 700 Celsius. I could probably even go lower. And you almost don't even need to touch the contact pads. Just get the gun real close. Hold these switches with the tweezer to desolder them. They'll come loose. Just pull them off as they come loose. And then when you're soldering these on, you don't solder on the pad that's on this ribbon cable. You just put a little touch of solder pre-applied to the feet of the actual switch, and then hold it down with your tweezers and use your iron ore gun to reheat that solder to get it to weld to the pad that's on there. Not the most fun thing to do, but sometimes you can't always have fun. So those are kind of the updates. I still gotta do the battery mod. So here is a stock battery. Let's move some shit out of the way and get the scale in here. I don't know if this is gonna be able to show very well. Yeah, you can see that. with the lights on. But stock battery, 5.38 grams. It's really not too bad for a stock battery. It's a 240 milliamp. Yeah, 240 milliamp stock battery. And then these are the two options for the battery mod. One's a 60 milliamp and one's a 50 milliamp. And the client reached out to me and originally wanted the 100 milliamp, and that's because I didn't even really let people know that I had these, because I only have a few of them, and just kind of figured they wouldn't be all that popular of an item. But he caught wind of that and reached out and changed a few things around in the order. This is one of them. We talked over switches further and this encoder mod. So here's the 60 milliamp battery, 1.15 grams. So basically a 4 gram savings there. And this one is, yeah, a 50 milliamp, 10 milliamp difference. I doubt that there'd be any noticeable difference in battery life. Either way, either one of these things, I gotta think would only last a couple of days, depending on how heavy you use it. I mean, if you're using it all day, heavily gaming all day, that might be all you get is one solid full day of heavy use. But that one's 1.03. So I guess Dungy, if you're in here, if you want to throw something in the chat, have your pick of these two. 10 milliamps more for 1/10 of a gram more. Do you care? Don't know which one I'd go with, that or in the Discord. If you're watching, just leave me a comment in the Discord. You know where, if you care. Then here is the skeleton reduction. This is actually from mine, but this is the same thing I'm gonna do to this one here. So here's a stock skeleton. Zero this crap out. 8.8 grams basically. And then this one's 5.8, so 3 gram savings. I have some ideas about how to get this maybe a little bit further even yet, with maybe using some 3D printed parts. I haven't played around with it really though. But pretty much everything that needs to be there for mounting the rigidity is still there. It's just the back half is gone that you don't really need, so. And then, like I've shown in a video, I'll cut this back post out of this frame just into a single piece and mount it right there at the back mount of the shell. So that's how I keep the mounting point at the back for the base while cutting the back third of the skeleton away pretty much. So, but that's just kind of a rundown on kind of what I've been picking away at throughout the day. And guess it's time to get building. Let's go after this skeleton here. I'll show you what I do, and then kind of like yesterday when I get to a certain point, I want to take the Dremel to it. I'll have to go downstairs to the dungeon to do that. So, but I guess this one doesn't really matter. Normally I cut it right here for the other type of weight reduction I do that's not as aggressive as this. I save these mounts and cut it right here, but since everything behind this mount on this one is going, I'll just cut it there, I think. Clean up my work a little later on with some Dremel work, fun stuff. And then I guess one thing I found that these mounts, if you're still using the OEM factory base, you don't really need these mounts, because the factory base I think is pretty rigid and stiff and solid on its own. So if I was doing something like this without a 3D printed base, I think I would cut it on the other side of this one, you know, maybe even up in here somewhere. On this side, I'd want to keep this one on your left click side, just because that mount will do a little something to help keep the mouse 4 and 5, you know, feeling good and stiff and factory like. So need to be able to get in there better. Go. So I'll clean this up a little bit better, either cutting or with the Dremel. The mouse buttons here will also get snipped because I got rid of the back mount. So kind of make a layout mark where I want to snip it. Got a little scratch mark on it. Do the same for the other button. Got a good scratch mark there. Alright. Then here, this is what I was talking about earlier. I want to save this back post, so just come in and cut it out. Save this part. This is garbage. And then this part will get screwed in right there. And that part is done. Yeah, I'm gonna have to clean that up with the Dremel. And then I clip some of this stuff in here. Some of these. This post here I get rid of because you don't use it in the 3D bases. And even if you're gonna go back to the factory base, don't really need it. Not really so much about weight savings, but I don't know, saves a quarter gram maybe. Something stupid. I'm not gonna put every little damn part on the scale, but too damn boring. And then I take out some of this stuff because I'm gonna drill out that. There are plastic shards all over my room. All right, so that's done. Next is basically already some Dremel work. So I'm gonna clean up this back tab back here, so it looks better, a little bit more professional. I'm gonna hollow out this part, leave, you know, stuff connected that needs to be there, but this is all just wasted plastic here in the middle that just doesn't really need to be there at all. Don't mess with the pre-tension posts. You probably can, but it would definitely change the feel of the buttons. And then take a little bit more out of here just to kind of maximize stuff. Maybe a little bit more out of here, cleaning that up. A little bit more out of there, cleaning that up. Nothing here with the side buttons really. Nothing really up top here. That's about it for that. So, y'all want to bear with me for 10 minutes while I go do some Dremel work? Apologize. But I'll be right back. All right. There's that. With some extra holes. Just got to do some cleanup with the file, but there's a hole in the middle that I was talking about. Trimmed off that tab. Took a little bit of material out of there. Wait, for the hell of it, it's 8.8. That's what it was. I think my version was 5.8 with a little bit of tape on it from the tape mod. 6.4. So, or 6.04, 6 flat. So 2/10 heavier than mine for whatever reason, but guess just margin error. So time to do a little bit cleanup. File I want to use, then just deburring it basically, like you would with metalworking or sanding with woodworking. Just knocking down the sharp edges. All right, so that is done. Can set that aside for now. Guess let's take care of the battery mod next. And I think I'm just gonna go with the 60 milliamp, 1/10 of a gram higher, but a little bit better battery life. So get this bad boy over here. Wire's already cleaned up for us. Get some heat shrink ready. Get the soldering iron warmed up. Suppose I can get rid of this little work pad mouth mat deal. So I have JST connectors coming from AliExpress. I've tried already doing one order, but one of those other things that didn't match the damn description, so they were the wrong ones. So for now, I'm sacrificing the factory battery to use the wires and the JST cable and just splice them to the new battery I'm using. You don't need the white wire, the third wire. It's for monitoring. Don't need it. So I just clip that right at the battery to maximize the cable length. Toss the factory battery. Unspool the wires. Clip the white wire. Can't ever figure out if I'm right or left-handed. All right. strip these. Kind of a pain in the ass without the right tools. There we go. Maybe one day I'll have a nice fancy wire stripper. Already tried one, but the damn thing didn't work. Getting this crap to line up in these helping hands is also a pain. I've seen better solutions. I just don't have a better solution right at the moment. Oh, Bessie. Wasn't lined up very well. Oh. Repeat again. Then figure out where we want to mount this in the shell. And that's done. Clean it up. The shrink wrap. Just cleaning up any XX flux. Doesn't really matter for the battery mods, but shrink wrap. If you're doing shrink wrap on any of your projects and you don't already know, if you're just using a lighter, damn, you're not gonna be able to see very well with the. You want to use the blue part of the flame though, down at the bottom, not the tip. Get it down in the blue. Ooh. And just twist this stuff up. Of course, I always go the opposite way that it was originally, but oh freaking well. Get the heat shrink kind of twisted up while it still is workable and loose. Then get that twisted up. All right. Done with that, put a few things away. All right. Next is the base and the PCB chain stem. That back out. Get the base. First is cleaning up this 3D printed base. There's just get rid of this stuff, a little bit of trimming, a little bit of sanding on it. Make a mess. Suppose I should probably do a test fit before I get too damn far on this. Don't know if I have another white one ready to go, so maybe it's a good fit. Yeah. Yeah, that's a good fit. Just need to get the cleanup done. So. Next time, this is another one of those things I'll do off camera, but. Or next time, I'll just do everything on camera. Fuck it, huh? Just ain't gonna try and stream with when I got the kids. That's asking for disaster. Alright, so if you get a real good clean print and you clean this up, this has got these two spots right there and there for the magnets for the power play. If you did want to use them, it's just tough to get that to print real clean with the supports and stuff, especially in ABS, which is what this base is. So if I'm having to use this stuff for the magnets, I'll pretty much just print it in PLA because it prints the supports a lot easier and cleaner. So it's not really any difference for this kind of application what material it is. So the ABS is a little bit stronger, can handle higher heat, but you're not gonna ever have an issue with heat on the base. Just normal use, unless you put your shit in the oven or something. So, but since we're not using the magnets, I just get rid of this stuff. You'll have this hole in the base, but it's part of the weight savings. And I also kind of think it looks cool. Just my personal opinion. You can kind of see into the mouse even a little bit more, even through the honeycomb. So this one's gonna need a fair amount of cleanup because of being ABS, but probably kind of one of the more boring things to watch right now, so sorry. Definitely try and have this done ahead of time next time. Excuse me. Castlers, thank you. How's it going? More tedious parts of this 3D printing base stuff, especially with this ABS, is the cleanup plus processing. It's really tough to get ABS to just print perfectly clean. left of the brim off. It's just a part of it that prints to help it stick to the plate of the printer. And then some of it stays behind and stays on the base. You gotta carefully trim it off, sand it off, whatever. So let's get this all cleaned up before we take it too far. Man, stuff is everywhere. All right. Do a little bit of filing, and then should be good shape. And I'm just going around deburring it basically, same as on the skeleton, making sure there's no sharp spots that'll catch your mouse pad, even though you have skates on it. But all right. suppose I should tap these mounts real quick. So I just grab a screw, usually use one from the base or from the frame, one of the longer screws, and pre-run them into the PCB mounting spots so that it's nice and threaded. I'm not having to do this while I'm trying to put the PCB on. And then if you're not careful, these little mounting spots can snap off. So also, if I'm gonna do it and have it snap off, it's gonna happen right now rather than with the PCB on there. Not like it's a big difference or whatever, but I just know right away I gotta go grab a new base or print a new one. So for every successful one of these I get printed off, I don't know, at least probably one of them is a failure, thrown in the recycling bin or whatever. I mean, sometimes I get on good streaks. Yeah, I like that Castler 3D printed base. Suppose we need the power button. Don't forget that. There's the power button in its home. And then, yeah, you want to get these nice and tight, but just, you're working with plastic, really easy to over torque them. You strip them, or like I said earlier, you twist the little mounting spot right off the base. To me, it's no big deal. I just print another one, or sometimes I got like a box of them printed and built up. So, yeah. This base definitely could use a little bit more cleanup, and I'll take care of that tomorrow before a final assembly. I'm just kind of saying screw it to move forward with the stream to show you guys what's going on. So that's a done deal there. Then time to tape mod the side buttons. Show you how I do that. I do it in 2 layers. I use a little bit of aluminum tape right behind where the switches are, and then a layer of like 3M double tape to get the shit to stick back on. So maybe scissors would be better. Alright, so those 4 holes, or 2 sets of holes, are right where the switches mount. So put a little bit of this tape right there. Basically just like that, and then another piece right there in front of those 2 holes, and then a strip of 3M tape over that. Now for the most fun part, working with tiny stuff in these tweezers. There. Poke a hole through where those holes are. Next piece. Gotta find a better way to do this. Where'd mine go? Oh. So this takes care of the pre and post travel on the side buttons. I think it makes them feel like brand new buttons. Now double-sided tape. Length is just about right. Here's your tape mod. Throw the ribbon cable back on. Got God, can't. Kale SMD's side switches. Just get everything lined up. There's already these little tabs on the skeleton that pretty much line you up, do the job for you. There you go. Done deal. Oh yeah, I think I got some more, a little bit more cleanup I want to do on the grooves for the scroll wheel mod from yesterday. What the best file is to get in there. Get this somewhere. Oh yeah. All right. Oh, scroll wheel. I gotta put a white rain on the scroll wheel, and then finally be ready for final assembly, I think. Hopefully. Huh. Alright. Hate to do it again to you guys, but go hit the restroom real quick. Throw up my page here. Be back at 5. Alright, sorry about all the breaks in the action. And the coughing. Been sick for a few days. Just a good man cold. The whole family's been sick. Kids have got like RSV or some crap like that. Wife has been sick. I finally got it, whatever it is, a few days ago. Nothing serious though. It ain't the COVID. So we gotta take this black rubber off and do that. Use a real little flathead screwdriver bit. Just get in here, peel it away. Probably go away from me in case I slip. And this one seems to be more of a bugger. Just get under it, start peeling it up. Sometimes you can get it to peel off real cleanly. You can see where they only have a couple of dabs of glue in there. There's a good glue spot. Then use your screwdriver just to scrape up all this extra nonsense. And I'll clean it with some isopropyl alcohol. Put on the new wheel. Get it as clean as you can. Alcohol, take care of the rest. Mainly, I don't want any little traces out on the outside edges where you might have a chance of seeing it out on the outside corner. But see it just cleaning the excess glue and all the excess stuff right off. Then give it a wipe with some of the dry stuff. should be good to go. I don't like. Oh, where's my stuff? There we go. Gonna get rid of 2 of these. The ones that are painted black. Get the files back out. All right. These are size 10 silicone rings. Silicone, whatever you want to call it. So if you're looking to do this mod for yourself, that's the size you need. Look for ones that are 5.5 millimeters wide. These ones come a little bit wider. I think these ones are 6, and I have to trim them down with a razor blade and a jig I've made up to get them to fit properly. But there's some sets out there that are just a direct fit. Rubbing alcohol out one more time. I'll do a final cleanup of this before I send it out, obviously. But there we go. White on white. And then you didn't see yesterday's stream. Yesterday we put in a ALPS encoder. Obviously the switches, the TTC golds, 80 millions. And the Alps encoder is a 7mm encoder, which is a millimeter shorter than what the GPX takes. Normally it's an 8mm. So I had to throw in a new mouse 3 switch and mod that and customize it, shim it to get it to the right height. I thought it'd be a direct replacement on that mouse 3 switch based off the description of ordering it, but it ended up being almost a millimeter shorter than what the freaking description was, of course. So throw this in. Don't need that button anymore. That way. Right, another little spring. Show you the way I do it. Most of the time, I'll try and leave these in, but put it in with it tilted all the way up. And then push it down. This is gonna be hard to see on camera, but it's up and over the locking groove it needs to be in, and then just push that in, force that back in. So there we go. I'll probably lube it. I don't think it needs any lube, but do that just for the hell of it. I won't lube the encoder. It's a tactile encoder. The customer wants a tactile encoder, so kind of like lubing keyboard switches. Tactiles and clickies and stuff, it's either you don't lube them or you lube them very carefully. But I'm just talking about lubing the scroll wheel itself in the groove guide, whatever you want to call it, in the mounting spot there, because I had to drill that out to get clearance for this to work. But I really don't feel anything though. I don't feel any scratchiness or anything wrong or anything. So, but I'll do that tomorrow when I do a final assembly. Oh, side buttons. Jesus. Alright. So, reinstall side buttons. Here. Feel they click. Gotta take it off my headset so I can hear them clicking. This back one needs to be bent a little bit, I think. The front one felt like it was going to be good. So then you just take whichever one you want to adjust and bend it. It's usually in you're bending it. So you bend it in a little bit, kind of hold it there for a few seconds, and then it'll kind of hold its memory. That's all you need to do for that. And then you also can adjust the feel with how much you torque these two screws down. Tighter you get them, kind of tightens up the feel. If it's too tight, you can back them out half a turn or so, or a little bit, and that'll kind of loosen up the feel. So I pretty much torque them all the way down. Make sure that, yep, so front one works. Feels pretty good, but the back one's already dead. So from me bending that in, you know, I probably didn't even need to do that extra bend, but it's just permanently pressing that switch down. So just back it out there, backed it out 3/4 of a turn, and I heard it click, so it released. There you go. Now it's working. And then you can fine tune each screw individually to get each button to adjust and feel the same. And there they go. They feel pretty damn good. So that's how you do the side button mods. You know, taping behind the ribbon cable behind the switches that forces the switches out closer to the buttons. And then so that takes care of, or helps take care of, both the pre-travel and the post-travel. And then you fine tune it with these two screws on how tight these two screws are, to get the feel you want. Oh yeah, gotta do one more thing. The shell, before I can throw it in. So I clean out some of this stuff in here. I don't go crazy. Like, pretty sure if you're here watching this, you've probably seen Bearded Bob. And he goes crazy and takes a lot of this stuff out. And I just don't think it's worth the time or effort. All that combined, you know, might get you 1/4 of a gram. So, and then I'm obviously not, if I was drilling holes in it, I would do more of that, because then it would help with the holes. But basically I just take this middle part out, because somewhere in there is where I want to mount the battery. So having a nice flat smooth surface to mount the battery. So I just do some starting clips on these support structures, and then all you need to do is grab them and twist to the side, and they just break away smooth and clean from the shell. You don't need to get in there and cut and cut and cut. You just start relief cuts where you want it to start and stop, and then just grab them and start twisting them, and they just break away. See, it's just peeling away. I don't know if you can see that very well, but do a relief cut up here at the top, because that's where I'm going to stop. This is already plenty far, but just take it all the way up to a stopping point. There we go. That's cleaned out. Now I got a nice smooth spot on the shell to mount the battery. I might as well do that next. I pretty much put it right there. The 100 milliamp batteries that I use fit like perfectly in this little spot. And then they got, they're kind of locked in there, pinched in there, side to side. This is a smaller battery, obviously, but let's see how big a piece do we want. About like that. Just hold the tape on there for a good couple seconds, 5 seconds. Put it in the spot you want it. Do the same, pinch it. Hold it there for a good couple of seconds. Get this cleaned up a little bit. Alright. If I had long enough cable, I could come right through there. But I don't really want to. Come on, Bessie. There we go. There we go. All right, buttons. Gonna clip them. Just checking that real quick. Get rid of that crap. Whoa, got a flyer. Pre-travel. Wonder. I didn't really look at them, but I wonder if the PTC switches are kind of like Japan Omrons, where they're a little bit taller, because that pre and post travel is really freaking nice right off of the bat. See that? There's no slop there. No slop, no mush. Wish I had more of these switches. Lines up pretty good. Yeah, that right side button needs a little bit of fine tuning. I don't really want to bend it because then it wouldn't line up perfectly there. So I'll put a piece of aluminum tape underneath the button plunger. But right now I want to get this thing at least kind of put together and see what the hell it's gonna weigh. I think like 46. That's what I'm thinking. I gotta clean up those screws, but almost a done deal. We gotta do some final crap, but let's see what it's gonna weigh. Away from the damn camera. $46. So after skates, it's gonna be 47 and a half, maybe 48. If it wasn't painted, it'd be a gram or two less. Be probably 46 or under 47 with the skates. Do I have a set of skates I can just draw on that scale to go where it's gonna be? I should have a set of skates lying around it somewhere. Oh. Take them off this other mouse. 46 and a half. Stay on there. $47 and a half. So it's kind of bouncing around. I got the fans blowing, and these scales are not most accurate. I got real accurate one down in the basement at my reloading bench. We're weighing gunpowder charges for reloading and that kind of shit. And that one I trust, and it's really freaking accurate. But this one, Amazon special, is close enough for this kind of shit. So there you go, 47 and a half grams with skates. They're gonna be these same style of skates. The original G Pro wireless up front, and then the GPX on the back. So, but that is about it for tonight. I got to do a little bit more post-process cleanup on this base, so it's real nice and beautiful for the customer. It's just part of this stuff, and I didn't want to bore everybody for an hour of just trimming and sanding and cleaning up this base. I got to tune up mouse 1 a little bit, put a piece of aluminum tape underneath the plunger. This one feels fabulous, so I think like one layer of tape will make mouse 1 feel fabulous. Let's take it for a quick test drive, I suppose. Ooh, I need to put those skates back on. Yeesh. 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 And then these skates are just skates that I have lying around that I use for this kind of stuff, builds, mock-ups, stress testing. They almost don't have any freaking stick left to them. So I'll use these ones because while I'm QC checking, stress testing, there's a good chance I'm gonna open it up for some reason. Not even if it doesn't even need to have a problem, but I get it kind of like, you know, remodeling, or not remodeling, but, or yeah, whatever. Building an old muscle car, you know, the project, you build the car like 3 damn times, you know, do all your work, do like a mock-up of the build, then strip it all down again, send stuff to freaking paint and powder coat, and then assemble it again. So it's kind of the same idea. I just get it to a point where all the mods are done and I can you know, QC and function test shit once I know everything's beautiful. Then I'll do like a final. Cool. Yeah. Looking beautiful. Let me switch my screens around real quick here. And should get some. So just double-click test.com. So I'll just run through a bunch of clicks. Got one that might have been me from accidentally touching the right button at the same time, but one and about 200 clicks, that's the margin of error. Alright, no, God, I can't fucking spam click it. So spam clicking, slam clicking. I'll just do this for initial test, a couple hundred per side, no problem so far. I'll do it again, do like a round of like 1,000. Obviously if I'm having double clicks, I'll do it even more. And then look at my solder job on the PCB. So there we go, 400. That's 200 clicks per side. Mouse 3 is working just fine. Scrolling, it's working just fine. This scroll wheel feels nice. I like a tactile scroll wheel too. So I usually run the TTC yellow, but I might have to do this 7mm Alps mod myself because that thing feels great. Mouse 5 or 4, whichever one it is, the front one. And the back one, bring me back a page. So side buttons are working perfectly fine. Everything's working just fine. Sensor working just fine. Beautiful. So that is my just initial quick QC check, making sure that all the clicks are working, the buttons, scroll wheel, everything is working the way it should. And then I know it's working, so I'll stress test it for, you know, a good hour, and actually even more, like an hour at a time. You know, I'll run a couple of game sessions, mainly play COD myself, a little bit of CS:GO. So I'll play with it in game, web browse, use it for a while, make sure nothing funky starts happening. And after doing that for a night or two, and I feel good about it, then I'll, you know, make sure that everything's all clean, pack it up and ship it off to you. And you'll have a 46, 47, 48 gram GPX. I think colorways if you want it. So switch this back out. But as I just said, I think that is going to be the end of the stream for tonight. And like I said, I'll do some final cleanup, post-process work on this base, some final cleanup touches, and then just stress test this thing. Just side play on the buttons. So, yeah. Thanks for hanging out. Thanks for watching me. It's been fun. Have a good night.